Hello, folks. My name is Mick, and I'm your host. And this is a word from the shadows. Today's date is Monday, April 10th, 2023. Maybe first of all, I should introduce you to my son. I love this little guy like he was a biological child of mine. His name is Clayton Bigsby. Oh, your little guy. He's the coolest little guy that ever was or ever will be. The big question on my mind, and maybe it's on your mind. Are you prepared? Have you did your prep homework? Have you did your prep work? Well, for your sake, I hope you have. I know me and little Clayton Bigsby here, we did our prep work. Because if we, the United States, end up going or getting in some kind of conflict over Taiwan with China, the big box stores, they might have their shelves 25-30% stocked. Their little corner stores, a lot of them are more likely dry up and go away. You see this little corner here is my prepping corner. It's also my more art and music corner. A lot of things go on in this corner. When I'm shooting this, I got this set kind of in play, and then I'll move the table out of the way and do a thing here and a thing there, and it'll be used for some other activity or prepping. But I would say at least 75%, if not more, of these prepping goods here, and the art and the music and the guitars and all kind of stuff, more than likely came from some specific island nation or a specific country, i.e. a country that was located in the Asian Pacific. So inevitably, any conflict with China over Taiwan, life as we know it is over. I didn't say life was over. I didn't say your dollar wouldn't have any value whatsoever. I said life as we know it, that as we have become accustomed to it, will cease to exist. And on a note, June 1st, companies like Tractor Supply and other companies will no longer be allowed to sell antibiotics over the shelf, over the counter, to mom and pop farming and livestock and poultry, small independent farmers. They go to a lot of these, I would maybe say big box farm supply companies. Tractor Supply is just one of them. There's quite a few of them. I just named that because it comes to my mind, not because I have any endorsements from them or anything. And purchase some antibiotics because as of January the 1st, 2023, you will no longer be legally allowed to do so. Now we know, especially in the prepping community, that antibiotic, generally speaking, has become much more scarce through conventional means, i.e., going through your doctor. For quite some time, alternative was you could go and buy antibiotics over the counter for animals, and in a pinch you could do them yourself, and they would help. Now, obviously, I'm not advocating anybody take antibiotic that was designed for an animal, but several people have reported that it did the job they needed it to do. Obviously, if it's a horse pill, you probably break it up in 5 or 6 pieces, and take it every 3 or 4 hours, or 5 or 6 hours, depending on what your needs were. But the moral of the story is you can't be too prepared. I got a bug out bag. I got satellite radios. I got a lot of green items that I can use solar panels to recharge. Because you can't go wrong with green energy if you have the tools necessary to harvest it and charge the batteries, and then you can use the batteries for what you need to use it for on down the line. So I am big pro green energy, 2 thumbs up. I just think it needs to be developed to its maximum potential so we can utilize it for the purpose that we need to utilize it for, which is maintaining a decent quality of life. Where do you stand? What's your opinions on all this? Because one thing is for sure, here at A Word from the Shadows, we don't proclaim to have all the answers, but we sure do have a lot of questions. All in all, we got to know. And this issue with Clarence Thomas, a Supreme Court justice, he's allowing multimillionaires, or a multimillionaire, a leader of a huge corporation with all kind of financial interest, to pay for him and his family to have a 5-star vacation with him and the other family. So a millionaire pays for this guy to go on vacation with him, and he pays all the bills, picks up the tab. Now, I'm not alleging that Clarence Thomas has taken bribes. That's not the point. I don't know. But one thing I do know is for a Supreme Court justice to exhibit that level of bad judgment, even if no improprieties took place, it has the potential for improprieties stamped all over it. That was absolute bad judgment on a United States Supreme Court justice's part. It was foolish. The height of bad judgment. Now, the real question is, beyond, did he accept paid vacation, 5-star, 6-star, all expense paid vacations, and did he potentially allow that to affect any rulings that he's issued, any opinions that he's wrote into law? But let's say, for the sake of argument, he did not. You could understand how a large part of the population may say, well, yeah, he did. That is horrible judgment on Clarence Thomas' behalf. And if he has that bad a judgment on this obvious to a duck issue, imagine the bad judgment that he's applied to any number of Supreme Court cases. These people issue lightning bolts out of the chambers of the United States Supreme Court. These issues and these cases that they decide affects everybody in every way. And this guy's accepted 5, 6-star, all expense paid vacations from titans of industry. Do you have faith in Mr. Clarence Thomas's wisdom and his decision-making ability? Or has that waned? Or is that in question now? And we can apply the same thing to the rest of the justices. No one's above temptation. Power corrupts. And total power corrupts totally. Now, I'm not alleging that we don't need government. What I am saying, we need clean, decent, upright, above board government that acts in the best interest of the people, not in the best interest of the mighty, of the titans. This what this country stands against. I stand against, and I think most people stand against government corruption and government misappropriation and having two systems of justice, one for the rich and or the rich that fall out of favor with the other rich, and the rest, and another form of justice for us poor smucks. What do you think? What's your opinion? We gotta know. Hello, folks. This is Mick again. When I first started this channel, I decided to name it Shadow Survival, and I put a dot in the middle to kind of differentiate it from any other things that could come along if the channel was successful. But unbeknownst to me, I bit somebody else's name, a video game's name. That was never my intention. And when I realized the error of my ways, I renamed the channel A Word from the Shadows, which is probably more appropriate because a lot of my show will consist of commentary, but there will be a lot of other things integrated as well. So that explains the name change. The new name is A Word from the Shadows. Also, right now, I'm in the process of integrating a new microphone into my existing equipment. So the sound quality may seem low, but especially on your television, you can actually turn the volume up and you will be able to hear what I'm saying. I definitely intend to rectify this problem very, very soon. Thank you for your patience. And if you don't mind and you like the content of the video, could you please share it and help get the word out there. And as a final word to YouTube, give me a shot, man. I think this right here will really take off. I think a lot of people will like my show, but they won't know if they like it or not unless they have an opportunity to view it. So will you give me a shot and put me out there? Start flashing me across people's home screens. If people don't like it, they don't click. But I think a lot of people probably will click, and I think a lot of more people will probably like it as time goes on. If I can get my the show up and running and out there, I'm gonna get it up and running. I'm gonna produce the content. I'm gonna get the shots. I'm just humbly and respectfully asking for the opportunity to get it to the masses. So until next time, folks, have a good one. Yeah, I decided to stop and set camp up. I got about another hour or so before the sun goes down, but an hour is really all that I need to have myself a nice, comfortable camp. I use a tarp and a lot of mosquito netting and a little ground cover depending on where I'm at and what the situation is. But as you can see, I got zip ties, clamps, stakes, clothes hangers, clothes pins, a couple of different types of paracord, some seal them up Gorilla Tape just in case I do get a tear or something in my tarp, which doesn't happen because I use extreme care, but anything's possible. And you know what? I put in this a little pair of camp scissors, so I can snip things. It makes for an easier, cleaner process when I'm setting my tarp up. I like to keep everything compartmentalized, so I don't have to take nothing else apart except for my tarp to set my little structure up, my camp up, and then I go from there.